Well, hello friends, and welcome to another Ask Zach. Hope you're doing well. Today we're going to talk about personalizing your guitar. I think you got plenty of fair warning with the opening pictures that you saw. So I'm going to talk about that. Going to talk about what I did on my guitar, a little bit of the history of that, and then I'll even show some of the chords that I learned from kind of a not the usual suspects kind of guy that I learned those chords from that I used in the opening little instrumental. All right, so while you're thinking about it, if you haven't done it already, and if you've been enjoying the show, please hit subscribe. If you've already subscribed, then I appreciate you supporting the channel. There are many ways. You can find tip jar information in the description, or you can go to askzach.com where you can find merch like a coffee mug or a t-shirt or different things of that sort. Also, there's Friends of Ask Zach, which is a really great way to support the channel. It's $10 a month, and with it you get the episodes early without commercials. You also get exclusive lesson content where I create a lesson every month that just for the supporters, and then also you get some Ask Zach guitar picks. So these D'Andrea medium heavies, you get these with the Ask Zach logo on them. So that's part of supporting me. So, all right, so let's dive in. All of this started for me recently with doing the episode on Jimmy Bryant. So that was a fun episode. I love Jimmy Bryant. And one of the really great things that I learned about him was that on his early broadcaster and early Telecasters that he used, on a number of them, he had clear pickguards that had graphics underneath them, which of course I've imitated here. His had his name and then a cowboy on a horse. And then he had another one that had his name, but it was white leather. So I kept thinking about it, and I was like, why does that remind me of something? Where have I seen this done before? Now, it wasn't done before chronologically, but it was something that I was exposed to long before that. And then I remembered a college friend of mine had a Telecaster that he put a clear pickguard on. And I let this friend borrow a magazine, and because I thought he would enjoy it, because it was he's into country music, and this was Country Guitar, which was a offshoot of Guitar World. This was a great magazine, and I let him borrow it. And when I got it back, it had this stuff, kind of coming out of it, and that was because there was an article on Junior Brown, the Git steel player. And he decided that he was going to turn that into a material to go underneath his pickguard. So that's what he did. I thought that was pretty funny, and of course I still have it because I still have the magazine because I enjoyed it so much. But this guitar player, friend of mine, he has continued to do that to this day. So he has always had guitars with clear pickguards on them, and he's put different graphics underneath them. Sometimes he's even put fabric. And so I was reminded of that, which somehow I had forgotten. And I thought, you know what? It'd be really fun to do something like this. Another thing that popped up was I recently got the Pinecaster book, which you can see behind me, the gigantic 4-volume, wonderful, wonderful history of early electric guitars and Telecasters, Blackguard Telecasters, and the prototypes made out of pine and such. That's where the Pinecaster name comes from. Well, in looking through that, I was surprised by how many guitars still had initials on them, of their former original owners, or even where they had spots on the body where you could see where a decal or letters had been removed. So it seems that really became a popular thing, very much so in country music, but even beyond that. I mean, think about, some of the photos that, you saw in the opening little montage. I mean, you saw B.B. King, and he had his name in the radio station that he played on. He was using his guitar as kind of a billboard. And then you have, Earl Hooker, that on his double neck he had his name, and just not inlaid in the neck, but just stickers that he had put on the headstock. Especially, you got a lot of room on that 12-string headstock. And then you think about Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimmy Vaughan. Both those guys, they they both took mailbox letters and put them on their guitars. Why? Well, I'm sure it's because of the hillbilly, the country hillbillies that they saw, because that was the thing to do in the 50s. It was very much a big thing, and that's why so many blackguards have them on there, is because it was a huge deal. It was cool to put your name on your guitar, and so many people would just get mailbox letters, because a lot of guys didn't think about trying to have a clear pickguard made or a leather pickguard. Some guys did do that. And of course, you have Gatemouth Brown and other guys that did have leather pickguards made, or Jimmy Bryant. But a lot of guys just took these mailbox letters and put them on their guitar. And I love it that Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimmy Vaughan both did that all through the 80s. And of course, Jimmy continued to play his old guitars with the letters on them, even to this day. So, yeah, I think I kind of came to the point where I just thought it'd be fun. And also a non-permanent fun thing to do. So I started thinking about what did I want on there. And of course, I thought it'd be fun to have my name on there. And then I thought, what kind of graphic would I want on my guitar? And, well, I'm a Texan. And, I lived the first 20 plus years of my life there. And I'm still, a Texan through and through. And if you dare to follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I post things like the other day. I smoked a brisket, for 10 and a half hours, and that's one of those crazy Texan things to do, is just to cook some old tough piece of meat until it's tender, and do all and wrap it, and butcher paper and do all sorts of stuff to get it to where it's a good tasty piece of meat. So I decided to do a cactus, and I decided to do like I guess what you call a prickly pear, because that's what I grew up with down in South Texas. I got many cactus thorns in me, running through the brush, as it were. So I decided on that. So my friends, Jay and Christy Smith, and so Jay is the guy that designed the Ask Zach logo, and his wife Christy is an amazing, artist. She does a lot of hand lettering and a lot of, drawings and a lot of wonderful artwork. And so she, designed the cactus, and of course drew out my name. And I was really enthused that the Z, kind of lined up with the curve of the body. So I thought that was really, really cool. Yeah. So and then the pickguard was just a clear pickguard that I got from All Parts. And I think most pickguard companies will produce one. I think I probably would have gotten, if I'd known that Deco Boom, which they're the ones that made the pickguard that was on this guitar, because that's what Dan Strain uses. I probably, I might have gotten one of those. But anyway, this is an All Parts one from Katy, Texas, of course. And so that's what's on there. And Dan Strain was kind enough to kind of bevel the edges on this and kind of polish it up. And then my friends, Jay and Christy Smith, printed this out, and they printed out on special paper, so you probably can't see it, but the paper is kind of cardstock, and then it has little flecks in it. And so it was a really, really fun, cool project. So I was glad to get to involve them and get to do it. And also it's something that, I can change out. I can do this if I want to change it to something else. If I want to go back to a regular old piece of plastic on there, I can. Or, I can live with this. So, but this is a lot of fun. And so that's one that you can easily do yourself. And like I said before, like my old college buddy, he's taken the clear guards and he's put fabric and all sorts of different things to personalize guitars that don't have crazy shapes on the body. And that's all I can say. All right, so now I want to talk about some of the chords that I used in the opening little instrumental piece, where it was kind of I've Got a Woman, the old Ray Charles tune, kind of playing that. And the chords that I played, besides just the regular old E, B7 kind of thing, you know. When I went up higher, I used was this A9 that only takes, you know, 2 fingers. And I learned that from my guitar dad, Pat Grogan, who used to play with Willie Nelson. And there you just got, you know, you've got 1 finger on the 5th fret on the D string, and then on the 6th fret on the G string, and then the rest of the strings are open, and you don't need to hit the low E string. So that's a fun chord. But then the other, like, fancy chords, I learned from Robben Ford, who, come to think of it, I mean, he's a great Telecaster player, and probably one of the guys that has popularized the Telecaster, you know, the most outside of country music in the last like 20 or 30 years, because of how much he's played one. And he has that, I guess, the 60 or 61, you know, slab board, you know, blonde Tele that he plays a lot, and which of course he makes it sound wonderful. And you know, and that's of course just, I hate it when people say, you know, that guitar sounds great. Well, you know, Robben Ford makes any guitar sound great, but that is a great guitar that he makes sound great. So on one of his videos that he did a while back, he was showing some chords, some big nice rhythm chords, and he did something like this. So I just loved that. And so this is just this big, you know, kind of E9 chord that, of course, you get that nice low open E string. Then you have on the D string, you've got the 5th fret. Actually, that's the A string is on the 5th fret. On the D string, you're on the 6th fret. On the G string, you're on the 6th fret. And on the B string, you're on the 5th fret. So you get this. And of course, you can kind of come from a half step below, or go up a half step. Then the secondary shape, which is, you know, I only used 3 shapes, or actually 2, actually, is you start on the A string, you play the 4th fret. On the D string, you're on the 5th fret. On the G string, you're on the 4th fret. And on the B string, you're on the 5th fret. And so you get this. That's your A. Then, if you just move it up 2 frets, you have your B. You can wrap your thumb over the top to get that bass note. And then there was one other thing where I took the A up to C. So, and then you have that ending lick, which is just the same thing over and over again. All right, guys. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.